What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Robert Garcia, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Get this. Robert Garcia said in an interview, that Deontay Wilder knocks out Anthony Joshua and does it easily. He feels that Joshua fought scared against Ruiz in the rematch. And he feels that Wilder would knock him out. Let me counterpunch. As you guys can see, this is from Ellie Setback.
Reporting.
I just finished watching the Hat Man Strikes Back video. And I had to counterpunch it because I had to give my 2 cents, right? And I think it's ironic that now Robert Garcia is training Anthony Joshua. And then people would think, well, man, that's very disrespectful for Robert to say. Well, first off, that particular video was done in 2019. That was before he was training him. It wouldn't really make sense, I don't think, economically for Robert Garcia to say something like that now. Referring to Anthony Joshua. For one, he's not fighting Deontay Wilder. And for two, he's hired by Anthony Joshua now. So he wouldn't say that, naturally. Normally, he wouldn't say that. So I think that would be that. Now, do I think that's true? Do I think Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua? Listen. For all the Anthony Joshua fans, for all the Deontay Wilder fans, especially the Deontay Wilder fans, you never heard me say that Deontay Wilder could not knock out Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder could knock out probably anybody that he caught flush, That's never been a secret. You've never heard me say, oh, these fighters can't, or Deontay Wilder lacks certain things. He does lack certain things, but knocking you out ain't one of them. His punching power is not one of them. So if Robert Garcia said that, he meant that at the time. I think an up-to-date video would be nice, but why would you have an up-to-date video? He made a video about who he thought would win. They have not fought, right? And that's his take on it, right? Deontay Wilder can put you to sleep based on Joshua being hurt. And based on the way Deontay Wilder punches, we would just have to know or see on the day. But I think he has the punching power to knock anyone out. Ask Luis King Kong Ortiz. And maybe, just maybe, some of his punch resistance may be gone away with by the hands of Deontay Wilder in the 2 knockouts that he took from him. Especially the first fight was more of a punishing back-to-back fight. But he took more punishment in the first fight, and he was knocked out cold in the second fight. He didn't beat the count, so he was knocked out. So those might have had something to do with it. So saying all that to say this, Deontay Wilder has punching power. He's a knockout, sharp-shooting artist. Make no mistake about it. But to counter that, if Tyson Fury can put Deontay Wilder on his ass, what makes you think Anthony Joshua can? Let me ask you this question. You think Joshua can hit harder than Tyson Fury? If you do, there's your answer. Because it doesn't matter who hits the hardest. This is not a hard-hitting, hard-punching contest. Only if that was up for debate. We're talking about a fight that actually needs a winner or a loser. And the guesses between those fights, it does depend on how those 2 guys come into the ring. If the Deontay Wilder of today fights Anthony Joshua, I'm really gearing towards Joshua to beat Wilder. Why? Because of the reflexes. Wilder's gained about 18 pounds and he's slower. You seen him in the Tyson Fury trilogy fight. He was not the same quickness. Now, if you take that version of Wilder, probably from 2018, that's a different story because he's quicker, he's faster, his reflexes are there where they need to be. He's lanky. He doesn't. His speed equates his power to a certain extent of how he delivers it. He doesn't get tired fast. He can carry the punch on through the 12th round. That has not really been decided or proven in the last couple fights he's been in. If you think about Deontay Wilder, we didn't see his first loss. It was stopped in 7. And then in the 11th, we really didn't know if he really carried the same type of punching power. Okay, because he dropped Fury early. Fury dropped him in the 3rd. He dropped Fury twice in the 4th. So we're not really convinced that Wilder takes and brings that power due to the weight, because it takes that weight was weighing on him, so he didn't really have time or had that type of energy, I feel, to put Tyson Fury away in the later rounds. But then again, he didn't hit him with the same type of punch he did in the 4th. Okay, but he did hit Tyson Fury. That was a good display. But still, if he would have came in 18 pounds less, that would have been a totally different fight. I think Wilder would have done a lot more. Okay, so you got two versions of Wilder. The one in 18 that was like 220 pounds, and the one now is about 238 pounds. Okay, one slower. Go figure. Small, broad shoulders. All his muscles are in his back and his arms. Skinny ass legs. Go figure. Okay, so and I don't mean that because he's skinny legs. He's weak. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you get too big on your upper body, it weighs in on your legs naturally. That's what I mean. And I think that's what happened with Wilder. Now, with Joshua fluctuates, okay? He was a lot smaller in the Usyk first fight, okay, with him. He was a lot smaller against Andy Ruiz. He was a happy medium against Pulev. So, but I still think on the mid-range, Joshua gets him. But Wilder can knock out anybody. So, for you Wilder fans, yes, Wilder can knock out Anthony Joshua given the right type of punch. These guys are heavyweights. That's what they do. Especially with Deontay Wilder with a hard punching right hand like he has. Okay, so him, but based that off of what Robert Garcia was saying, he was basing that off of how he fought Andy Ruiz. You wouldn't fight and you shouldn't fight Deontay Wilder like you fight Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz is a mid-range fighter. He's a totally different fighter. And by the way, no one else's fault. No reason of their own. I think Andy, ducked a lot of fights, but nobody has got the opportunity to fight Andy Ruiz but Anthony Joshua and Chris Arreola and Joseph Parker. Okay, that's his claim to fame, and that's 2-1, right? Because he beat Chris Arreola, and then he was defeated by Anthony Joshua in the rematch, and he had a split decision loss to Parker. Okay, but everybody else, Fury, Wilder, Joyce, none of those guys have went in there with Andy Ruiz. All right, so, but him saying that, if that would have been now, it would have been a lot more to talk about. That meant that, Robert doesn't really respect it. He's there for the check. But of course, like you guys can see, that was from 2019. Okay, that wasn't a recent interview. Okay, so that's that. All right. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Roberto Garcia saying that Deontay Wilder knocks out Anthony Joshua easily. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.